Alright, what is up YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm giving you guys my 6 month roundup. I think it's been enough time to do a roundup for the year of 2024, because it's been one crazy year, hasn't it? Um, I think this is probably a good way to sit down with everyone who's watching and who has been watching my content and just let you guys know what's going on, what's the major changes to the channel, and maybe give you guys more insight of just everything behind the scenes. So, if there are any questions, hopefully some of them can be answered through this. If not, and anyone does have any questions, well, the comment section is always open. It's always been open, just no one answered, no one asked. So, um, yeah, there's a lot to talk about. There's three major subjects, the content, Digimon, and Yu-Gi-Oh! And I think I'm just gonna stick to those topics as it is. So, why I have the music in the background, and hopefully it doesn't interfere with too much. Let's actually go through that. So first off is content. As many of you know, I did a lot of projects earlier in the year to try to fix some things. But unfortunately, things are just not working out like I thought they would be. One of the major things that isn't working was the podcast. And for many of you who know, I did decide to leave the live stream family and live stream things behind. My reason for leaving live streaming behind, if you guys didn't check out the videos behind it and my discussion video from my channel anniversary, was basically this. I was streaming for a couple of years. Let's give it maybe from 2018 to about 2019. Then I stopped. When the pandemic happened, I came back because I had a laptop, I had access to things to record, to have music, all of this, to basically make the live streams more professional. Well, I was growing the bit of the audience that I had, but because I didn't have a strong, background to hold me together to produce a lot of things, unfortunately, things just did not pan out like I wanted them to. So that eventually led into me running away from that era of, well, in its own way, that was me running out of the era of live streaming. People have to understand that content creators like myself and many others do need the support that they can give. And it wasn't like I wasn't giving content, I wasn't making sure I was on stream, and I had things on. I just don't have an audience like a lot of other people. And I know some people are going to say, why do you compare yourself to the others that do it? Well, because everyone else at a point did. Then when I stopped doing that, I started looking at my numbers on its own level, where I have all these subs, I have all these followers, I'm promoting myself every which direction. I'm promoting myself on every social media platform I have access to. Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, Twitter, YouTube. When YouTube communities started coming out, I started to promote myself on there. It's been a very difficult thing, and I think at a point, because I don't have the, in quotes, requirements to do a lot of stuff, I backed out. And I think wasn't just a personal choice, I think it was probably the smarter choice, because there was a lot of times where I did put a lot of effort into trying to get a lot of people to come watch streams, to come watch me do a lot of this stuff that I tried to perform, but things just didn't work out like I was hoping for them to. So at that point in time, I did decide to walk away from, the live stream era. And I don't think I have any negatives towards it. I think a lot of people have to understand is that when you do the line of work for live streams and you do a lot of the things for YouTube, it can be very stressful. And you do put yourself out there on many levels. Excuse me. But because, a lot of this was not panning out like I would like it to, it just didn't work out like I was hoping it would. So that eventually just in itself entailed made me just move into a different aspect of, you know, what I could do to produce content for the channel. So at that point, because my numbers weren't growing like I wanted them to. I was, constantly putting the effort into things and trying to get as much support for those things as possible. It just unfortunately never panned out like I wanted it. So at that end, I decided to just walk away, which I think was probably a smart idea, judging by how things panned out overall. So I decided to go ahead and do podcasts. This is a horrible hand, and I'm not pulling anybody out of this. So at that point, I decided to go ahead and move away um, from live streaming, and I announced earlier in the year I was going to do podcasts. So I tried podcasting. I was giving out topics or ideas of things people would like to see. As we all know, when I make polls and stuff, I don't get a big result from that either. So at that end, I had decided to just say, whatever's on your mind, whatever's going on in that week, go ahead and talk about it. I didn't know at that point in time I was having audio issues with my laptop that started, I think, around the time we moved. So if I hadn't known what was going on, I would have said, okay, I want to drop what I had. I have the money to go buy a new laptop. I would have went and bought me a new laptop. Would have moved everything from the old one to the new one, sold the old one, and then still made some profit off of that to try to rebuild everything. But like I said, things were not happening the way they were, and I didn't know there was much of an audio issue as it was going on. So at that point, I was like, okay, well, I don't know what else to do because now it's affecting content. So I couldn't do deck profiles. I couldn't do podcasts. There was not much I could really do. Even for my simple discussion videos on cards that were coming out and stuff, I was still having audio issues. So then I decided to just try to maybe record off my phone. Well, that becomes an issue as well because a lot of the screen recorders, especially if you're trying to use them on Android, they don't properly work when recording on Android. I do have an iPad, but I don't want to use my iPad any more than I have to because what I use my iPad for is basically just to watch, live streams and YouTube and stuff like that. Because as you can tell right now, my iPad is using the music. You're listening to my my live stream music playlist from my laptop, and that's being generated for what you guys hear in the background, so it drowns out some of the noise in the background, which is always the issue when you're recording without the proper material to record, because there aren't sound things that I can put in play for my earbuds. So this is just what I go through when I go through things, when I have to experience these things. So then we moved on from there. I had to drop more content. So while replacing one project, I threw myself into another project. And I don't know, to me, I feel like that's just me coping with the failure of one thing and trying to push into another thing to make sure that doesn't fail. So it is a lot to do that I have to deal with on mental, physical, and emotional levels. So sorry, I'm a human being. This is what we go through. Then from there, I decided to just push for, trying to push for some more content. But things just are not working like I would like them to, unfortunately. So, yeah, it is still a lot to, put together, try to sort things out. So, it's not easy. It's not at all. But I am just pushing for what I potentially can. From there, I did my layout of things. And as you guys can tell from a lot of my other videos, if they're not being recorded through me struggling with the screen recorder, it's basically me just recording things through having one phone take the images off of the other phone and then trying to push from there. No, it has not been easy. Trust me, it's not been easy. But I've been trying my best to get things together so that it is a little more comprehensive, or if not comprehensive, I can at least make some things manageable. So, yeah, that's pretty much just the recording side of it. Um, and like many other projects, some have done well, some have not. So I do drop. So at that point, I am just pushing those out the way. So yeah, that's like the major roundup in terms of that. Content that has now just basically just become a thing of if I post that I posted. Majorly looking at it, it is Puzzles and Dragons because Pat has just not been my friend. And mostly people would want to see me live stream Pat, but because I don't have the equipment to do that, I am just going to go ahead and move on from all of that and focus on just Yu-Gi-Oh! And Digimon since, cardboard. Easier access to things, and I don't feel like, well, I already feel like I waste my money on those anyway, but I'm going to get to those in that situation just soon. But yeah, I am cutting the aspects of Puzzle and Dragons to just random posts. If anything, if I try to post things, they'll probably be on YouTube, so on Instagram. Maybe you guys can see those there. If not, I'll try to post them here. Maybe make shorts out of them, because people do love shorts. Shorts do generate some income. Some views, so maybe that'll help some more people watch my content. As far as I cannot promise that I can make some legible shorts. I mean, I don't know how I got away with the TikTok stuff, but I did. So at least there was something there. But yeah, I am trying. So I at least hope that I get the benefit of the doubt for trying. With that in tow, I guess we can move on to the next two subjects. So the next one is going to be Yu-Gi-Oh! What's going on with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Content. So as you guys know, I am not a competitive player, so a lot of the competitive stuff for the modern era is kind of just, it is what it is. If you guys want to see people talk about that, I'm sure there's plenty of YouTubers that you can go and follow for that. But for my personal content, I haven't made a Harpie deck profile in like about 2 minutes. So, oops. And then, about 2 minutes, because I think the last one was right after the ban list, and I made a deck profile for April. I think it was either April or May. I think it was April. And that was about it. So then Flaundries had a deck profile. Sky Striker has 3 engages. So that was a thing to celebrate, because yay. And then I think that was about it. I started just focusing more on retro deck profiles. If you notice, the retro deck profiles have slowed down because there are a lot of cards that I cannot afford, and I didn't realize a lot of the older cards were going to be very expensive, because oh my god, they're really expensive. I tried to get a Magical Android. She's like $20. I tried to get a Tempest Magician. They're like almost $10. A lot of the structure deck stuff that aren't like, the constant staple things tend to be easier to access, while some things are just not easy to access. Like, it's really hard to find a Thunder King Ryo. It isn't because Thunder King Ryo is out of play. No, it's because, they have Edison format tournaments, and a lot of those cards have now jumped up in price because Konami has not reprinted a lot of those. It's funny that I say reprints because they just announced earlier this morning, at the time of this recording, that they're going to be re-releasing the Light of Him structure deck, which is the structure deck for the Light Swarm, in addition to the Light Swarm stuff that was in, Phantom Darkness. That's getting a re-release. To basically hype up things, Retro Pack is getting a re-release as well, and it's not just Retro Pack 1, no, it's multiple Retro Pack content in one Retro Pack. Now, some people may disagree with, Retro Pack and Konami re-releasing Retro Pack. I'm just like, look, I'm getting new stuff from Retro Pack. And, Retro Pack stuff is very hard to come by, not just for collectors, but just for people in general who wanted to play, a lot of the older stuff, but we don't have the older stuff. So while some people will take it with a grain of salt, I'm actually looking at it as a blessing, because I definitely need some stuff from Retro Pack, primarily because I want to upgrade my Cyber Harpie ladies to Secret Cyber Harpie ladies, and they only come from Retro Pack. So, yay! Oh, and they're TCG only, so I don't know what Europe's going to do about that, but shout out to all my European players who are not getting Retro Pack re-release. Blame Konami. Then from there, there is the lineup of things that follow behind the deck list situation with retro decks, because I am now considering maybe doing a retro deck for Lightsworn, and it could potentially work because there are a lot of builds for Lightsworn throughout the years, because Lightsworn here and there gets a lot of support. You know, whether it's their structure deck, you know, try to push them into the modern era, or maybe it is just newer support that is pushing them into the modern era. Lightsworns have always been something of a relevant deck when it comes to their variations, whether it's the Chaos variation, Pure Lightsworn, Lightsworn B, you know, the different variations of Lightsworn that take advantage of other decks that like to mill. Lightsworn just has a lot of its variations that keeps it together. So I was considering Lightsworn now even more, and could potentially just pick up the Realm of Light structure decks to help build up my Lightsworn stuff. So different Lightsworn, you could see Hyperion making an appearance, because I've been debating on it. Hyperion, Dragunity, I want to give Plant a good look at as well. So there is these hymns of decks that I wanted to play around with. I have support for some, but not all, and I wanted to focus on a lot of those because of the things that have already transpired, of things coming out. It's just very expensive because a lot of the older support for those decks seem to be very, very expensive on their own. So it is going to be a minute till I can get some retro decks up. So when I can get to the board, I will get to the board as soon as I can. But for the ones that I can't, sorry, just things don't pan out. I could potentially build a Patreon and stuff, but I don't want to feel like it's begging, and then at times it does feel like it's begging. But that is just my personal motif. Now, with that being told, that will bring us to basically, if I do drop some more content for Yu-Gi-Oh!, you guys will see it on the channel as soon as possible, and I'll do my best to try to pop it up onto my social medias. To anyone who's watching my stuff from Twitter, I do apologize because, well, you blame Elon. I can't really share too much from certain aspects. It's very hard to move those things around, and I can only do what I get the access to. I'm not paying for Twitter Blue, and no, I'm not setting up a section of people who pay for my Twitter Blue. That's really, really not. No, don't thank you. You don't have to do that, and you're not obligated to do that. Neither am I obligated to give Musk any more of my money than he probably already gets enough of my data. So, yeah, we're not going to be doing that. Now, moving away from Yu-Gi-Oh! And just letting you guys know content will be coming as soon as it can. Let's go into Digimon. So, Digimon players will know that I did cut a lot of my Digimon roundup and my Digimon tournament experiences. Literally because I am just not good at Digimon. And it's okay for me to say that. What is not okay is something that I'll bring to the table in another video, but let's just be saying that lines were crossed, and I want to leave that into its own discussion. But for the Digimon content, do expect these things. Master Mom will be making her reappearance, like she already has. Lugamon is doing okay. Gargomon is not going to be expensive, so don't expect an expensive build of Gargomon. Just expect something that is just accessible because I can have fun with it and play around with it. As far as that goes, there won't be any tournament roundups. I did do enough content in May to talk about Digimon as far as it can be talked about, and I go from there. So, yeah. And like I said, that's just going to lead into its own video, so prepare for that situation. But with that said and done at that point, just expect as much content as can possibly pop out for the next couple of weeks. Keep everything together, and I hope you guys do enjoy what I produce, because I do my best to produce it as much as I can. So with that said, thank you guys so much for watching. I know you guys are watching me just impromptu to playing around with my cards and stuff so I can test out some things, because of course that's what most of us do. And I will most likely catch you guys in an upcoming video with some more upcoming content. So with that said, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, because it helps me out tremendously. You can hit the notification bell to be informed of when I upload more of my content to my channel. If you guys have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and HPJ signing out. Take care.